Hello, thank you for tuning into my podcast. I am Ayhan Yavuz, and this is Your Life Working Out for You? It is my sincere intention to share my knowledge and my experience with you today. I hope that, however small it may be, you will benefit from listening to this. Let us work on the life we want to have with full commitment. But let us admit it, some of us are not even clear about what kind of life we want to have. We wander through the days, reacting to the world around us, without ever stopping to ask if the direction we are heading is one we chose for ourselves. This podcast is not about giving you a secret password to unlock the files of universal knowledge. I do not have a magic key. Instead, this is about sparking enough curiosity in you so that you can get a taste of being awake rather than sleepwalking through your life. Most people spend their entire lives in a state of autopilot. They wake up, consume, react, and sleep. I am here to invite you to wake up. Today, I want to talk about the importance of words. Yes, words. They are the most powerful tools we possess as human beings. They can be simple, yet brutal. They may seem innocent, but they can be deadly at times. We often underestimate the weight of the things we say, not just to others, but to ourselves. Because this is such a lengthy and complex topic, I'm going to focus on something very specific today. That is, how to express feelings in a healthy way based on the words we choose. I have noticed that the way we describe our inner world often dictates the quality of our outer world. I'm sure that you are familiar with expressing feelings. Everyone has them. However, if you paid attention to my introduction, you might have noticed that I did not use the word your when referring to emotions. Do you know why that is? It is because the emotions we choose to feel are not ours. They are visitors. I hope you paid attention again because I said the emotions we choose to feel. The key word here is choose. I know some of you are probably thinking, how in the world would anyone choose to be sad, angry, or frustrated? Why would a person choose a state of suffering? I understand that resistance, but stay with me. You get the idea as we go deeper. One of the major mistakes we make as humans is associating ourselves, our very core, with the emotions that seem to be running the show at any given time. We have 4 human components that I often talk about. They are the intellectual, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual. You may remember from my other podcasts or my YouTube videocasts that these 4 components are the pillars of our energetic existence. I am a firm believer that we must see ourselves as more than just skin and bone. We are energetic beings. Therefore, the emotions that show up in any of those 4 components can take over the rest. Imagine these 4 pillars holding up a roof. If the emotional pillar is set on fire, The smoke fills the intellectual room. The heat weakens the physical structure, and eventually the spiritual roof begins to sag. The emotions we encounter can run the show for us, taking over the wheel and driving our lives off the road if we are not careful. Which is worse, so many of us, when we feel an emotion that could be described as negative, decide to take ownership of it. We treat it like a piece of furniture we just bought. However, emotions cannot be purchased. They cannot be owned. They cannot be trapped. They cannot be held captive like a pet in a cage. But they can trap us. How does that happen? It happens through the labels we use. Let us begin by examining the difference between two widespread expressions. I want you to really feel the weight of these words as I say them. Example 1. 1. I am angry. 2. I feel anger. Think about this a little bit. Do you think there's a difference? When you say I am, you are stating an identity. You are saying that the totality of your being is defined by that anger. But when you say I feel, you are describing a temporary state of being. Example 2. 1. I am sad. 2. I feel sadness. Do you think there is a difference between those? Of course there is. One is a cage, the other is a window. Example 3. 1. I am frustrated. 2. I feel frustration. In the examples I just gave, and as you know, there are thousands more, there is something that we should be mindful of. In fact, we should always practice mindfulness in our daily lives. But today, we are focusing on expressing emotions with the right words so we do not get trapped by them. We do not want them to become labels we end up identifying with for years. What is happening when we say, I am angry? In our society, we are obsessed with identity. We need words to describe and express who or what we think we are. After all, we share this planet with 8 billion others. We feel we must have something that sets us apart from the rest. So we use words to express ourselves and let others know that we can be both similar and different at the same time. But when you identify as the emotion, you lose the ability to change it. Take a quick moment now to allow yourself to take a deep breath in and out. Please do it with me. Inhale and exhale. Now repeat after me. I am not my emotions. Let that sink in for a second. Emotions are not ordered for any of us. They are not custom-made deliveries. On the contrary, just like the air we breathe, they are available for all of us. The air is a mixture of gases. It consists of approximately 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen, with about 1% composed of other gases such as argon and carbon dioxide. We do not own the air. We simply move through it and pull it into our bodies. Just like the nitrogen and oxygen coexist in the atmosphere, emotions coexist in our environment. However, If nitrogen levels rise too high and displace oxygen, it can cause asphyxiation. You cannot breathe because the balance is gone. Emotions are very similar. If you breathe in too much anger or too much sadness and you claim it as your own, you begin to suffocate spiritually. You lose access to the oxygen of your peace and joy. This is not just spiritual talk. This has a biological reality. When we say, I'm angry, we are actually sending a specific message to our cells. I have a fascination with how our bodies listen to us. Our cells have receptors. These are specialized proteins found on the cell surface, in the cytoplasm or in the nucleus. They act as sensors for chemical messengers such as hormones and neurotransmitters. These receptors are crucial for cell communication. They regulate your bodily activities by binding to ligands to trigger responses. Imagine your cell receptors continuously hearing things from you, such as, I am angry, I am sad, or I am broken. What do you think they will transmit to one another? What kind of chemical environment are you creating inside your own skin? Do you believe our cells have the ability to change? Yes, they do. Do you think we have the ability to heal ourselves as well as the ability to make ourselves sick? I'm sure of it. Our overall attitude toward life, the things we talk about, the things we watch, the things we choose to see, all of these serve as messengers to our cells. If you would not allow yourself to live in a toxic, polluted environment, why would you willingly send negative messages to yourself through your cells? I want to challenge you. Why do you not do yourself a favor this week and try changing the way you express how you feel? I want you to remember to see emotions as nouns instead of verbs or adjectives. Let us say, for example, that you are exposed to the emotion of anger. You still have a choice in how to process it. What are you going to do with that emotion? Anger is often perceived as a negative emotion. However, it can also be just the fuel you need to wake up. Can you channel that emotion to use it to create something good in your life? Where is that anger coming from? Why is it showing up in your life? I have found that anger is often a mask for a more profound truth. Have you been silenced for too long? Have you been ignored for too long? Have you been away from love for too long? Have you been invisible for too long? What is it? Because those emotions will show up in your life. They will have messages for you. However, it is up to you how long you want to welcome them into your home. Do you want them to take over your entire life? Remember, when you say, I feel, instead of I am, you are actually doing yourself a massive favor. You are creating space between the person you are and the storm that is passing through you. When you say, I am angry, you have already labeled yourself as a person who is angry. You have closed the door. However, try this instead. Say, I feel anger. In this way, you stay in control. So many feelings surround you. They are sometimes competing with each other to take up residency in your heart and in your mind. That is because they want to be seen. It does not mean that they should run the show. You should tell yourself that you feel them first. Then, and this is the hard part, I want you to sit with them without asking the question why at first. If you ask why immediately, I can tell you right now that your mind will keep creating stories about why the anger is there. It will search your history. Next thing you know, you will be remembering more things, perhaps even from your childhood, where you felt that same feeling. You will be building a case against your own peace of mind. So, sit with the feeling of anger. Feel that feeling in your body. Where are you feeling that? Is it in your chest? Is it in your throat? Is it a tightness in your stomach? How about an antidote? Do you think you can stop fighting the feeling of anger and start embracing it instead? Because the feelings are there for a reason. They are messengers. It becomes your responsibility to communicate with them before releasing them. And please, pay attention. I did say release them. I did not say avoid them. Avoiding an emotion is like pushing a beach ball underwater. It will eventually pop back up with more force. Releasing is letting the ball float away on the tide. Like I said, this is a very lengthy topic, and I'm only scratching the surface today. If you are listening to this and you have a specific question regarding this topic or how it applies to your life, please reach out to me. Maybe my next podcast will cover that topic specifically. Before I end this podcast, please spend some time this week thinking about what you heard here. Please look especially at the emotions we label as negative. They have messages for us. If they show up in your life, listen to them without creating elaborate stories. Let them show up in your physical body. Embrace them like a guest who has arrived at your door. Remember that for every poisonous thought you feed, you also have some antidote somewhere in your psyche. You are a balanced being by nature. It is your responsibility to step into the light if the darkness has figured out a way to trap you through your choices. Let us start with your words this week. Pay attention to them. Paying attention to how you choose to describe the emotions you choose to feel. Your words are the architects of your reality. Build a house that you actually want to live in. Make good choices in your life. I am your host, Ayhan Yavuz. Thank you for listening to me. I wish you love and I wish you peace.